Welcome to the stream, everyone. This is CryptoTakeOver coming back with another Bitcoin analysis video for y'all this evening. We're going to get started on the lower time frames, make our way up a little bit higher. Bitcoin currently seeing a little bit of rejection, having this nice little sell-off here all the way down to almost the 11,100 area. We've had a little bit of a bounce since then, and now we've had our pivot high right now is sitting at about 11,500. Bitcoin seeing still a little bit of rejection as of right now, so we're going to see what might be happening here, if Bitcoin's going to be continuing a downwards, continuing upwards actually, but then maybe looking to see a little bit of a rounded top possibly too. So let's see what we can determine by moving out on these charts. If that sounds interesting, go ahead and stick around here, and here we go. So if you're brand new to this channel, we use the market cipher indicator by CryptoFace alongside with the TI sequential by ToneVase and the market guide buy and sell signal. So we're using a few paid for indicators on this channel as well too. We'll go ahead and turn a few off here just to get started on these lower time frames. Let's turn off market guide. Perfect. Okay, cool. So we're looking at the 15-minute chart here. We can see that we are currently sitting above our VWAP as of right now. It looks like our green money flow is starting to maybe trickle off just a tad bit, so we'll have to be aware of that. Moving on up to the higher time frames, let's move on into our 20-minute time frame. See what's happening here. We are getting some bullish EMA crosses as of right now, but it does look like we are kind of losing that momentum just a tad bit. It looks like here we're on our 20-minute. It looks like we're putting in a currently trend line, maybe an ascending pattern here, which usually probably leads to a downwards momentum break. But we'll have to wait to see exactly how this wants to play out. If we come all the way back down and retest this area and have a break below it, then we could probably consider maybe going in short. So we're definitely looking at maybe a possibility of this money flow dying out once again. Blue momentum waves also losing a little bit of traction, moving to the downside as well too. Going on into the 30-minute time frame, I am going to turn off I'll turn off Cipher SR. Perfect. So we know the bulls are in control right now, sitting above the VWAP. And we do have our support resistances and our swing high and swing low pivots too as well. Looking at the 30-minute time frame here, we can also tell that money flow may be looking like it wants to kind of move up, but also just currently trending sideways as of right now. We are starting to get a little bit of a bullish cross pattern here with our 13 and our 50. But then we are seeing, we did jump back up above the green trend line too as well. But I think that if we start to retest that as support, we're going to have to wait to see how that's going to work out on the 30-minute time frame. If we move on into the 45-minute time frame, we'll take a look, see what's happening here. 45-minute time frame also moving back up above a green pivot point, which is definitely a bullish scenario for Bitcoin. But we're going to have to wait to see if this wants to come back down to retest this trend line as support or resistance. Currently, it looks like it may want to come back down and retest it as a support. So we're definitely going to have to keep an eye out on that. Maybe around 11,350 is where we could find the next support at for Bitcoin moving forward. Let's go on into our hourly time frame and take a look at here. EMAs do look like they are wanting to cross a little bit bullish as of right now, but I'm really going to have to wait to see exactly how this wants to play out. I'm not going to try and take a trade anytime really soon, maybe on the 15-minute if we do break bearish. The only thing is that as we start to zoom out here on these time frames, we're going to see kind of a little bit of a rounded structure that could be kind of bearish for Bitcoin overall. So I think that rounded structure might play a big role in maybe this being a topping out pattern. But we're going to have to kind of wait and see. I would probably want to wait to see some trend line breaks up above on the 100 up here, maybe right at around 11,790. Money flow, you can't really tell too much about what's going on here on the 1 hour time frame, but let's go on into our 90-minute time frame and see what's happening here. So our 90-minute time frame also giving us some areas of some key resistances above head. Now the 90-minute time frame honestly looks like one of a better option to go to if we do end up breaking bullish. We're looking probably for a pump above this green trend line right at about 11,600. So if we get a trend line break above 11,600, I might consider a long position there based on that break. but then we're going to have some even bigger overhead resistance right at about the 11,700. So over the over the past week and the weekend, we were really looking for a trend line break above this area right back here. So this was a nice little pivot area for us to break up above, and we could never get that solid break. I signaled the group that we might have a possible long incoming, but we never even broke this here, and then we continued to sell off. So we didn't take the short. I was still just kind of remaining cautious. I want to see some bigger trend lines that break and give us a clear direction on where this might be going to, because even as we start to zoom out here on the 90-minute time frame, this is another just consolidation pattern out for us right now. We were putting in higher highs and higher lows, but as of right now, the past couple of the last, at least from last week going on into today, we've had lower lows being put in now and lower high being put in. So that's definitely something that we need to consider out whenever this consolidation to the top side at around that 12K area has been major resistance for us for the past couple of weeks. So we could see some dumpage to come into us to come into the Bitcoin market here pretty soon. So let's move on into our 2 hour. And before we get started on that, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about how we trade this market, feel free to join us. Let me see if I can pull up the. Here we go. Feel free to join us in the Patreon page. The Patreon page is available for you for right now. Just know that if you do get signed up this late into the month, you'll get charged double. So I'm thinking about running a special at the beginning of the month again. If you want to stick around and wait for that, feel free to. But if you want to catch the next trade with us, you can join us in the Patreon page as well. So you'll get access to the private Discord server alongside with a private analysis pretty much each and every single day whenever I get a chance to do it. If I don't post public videos, I'm usually posting private videos for the Patreon members. And then on top of that, we talk about all the different altcoins that we're currently getting into and how we're going to set ourselves up for great success in the long term. So definitely check that out and be sure to become a Patreon member. But I will be running a special probably at the beginning of September. So if you want to wait for that, you can hop on board whenever that is available. And the best way to stay up to date with me on these specials that I have running is coming over to the CryptoTakeOver announcements page on Telegram. And you can come sign up for there for free. So this is a public Telegram announcements page. It's just a channel. But if you want to come and chat with us too, you can join our Discord server. The Discord server is available to the public. Whenever you join the Discord server, you'll be brought to a welcome page. On that welcome page, just click the little green checkbox, and then you'll have full access to the Discord server. Make sure you abide by all the community rules and guidelines. And then, we have our trading group also on that server too, but you need to pay for the membership in order to have access to that private category on there as well. And then I do want to tell you that we are on our way to 3,000 subs. I'll be sending out another newsletter here probably this week. And once we hit 3,000 subs, we're doing our next giveaway. So make sure you go get signed up. And in order to qualify for the giveaway, you need to be signed up for the newsletter. This is just the easy way for me to get back in touch with you if you do end up winning, but then also stay up to date with relevant information with what we have going on. So 3,000 subs, I'm doing a $100 giveaway in one of our favorite altcoins. In order to qualify for that, you need to be signed up for the newsletter. And then we have our Path to Cryptocurrency course that is available. There is an early bird special going on right now for this. If you want to go ahead and sign up for it, feel free to. But this is basically a beginner's guide to crypto, talking about different altcoins, how to stake them, where to dollar cost average into this market, what are some of the best exchanges that I've used over the past three years about being into this crypto space. So definitely want to spread the news on how to get started in this and learn how to make some life-changing wealth, possibly within the next 5 years. So if we start to enter these bullish market areas for us as well too. So let's take a look at the 2 hour. We're jumping on into the 2 hour. We have our red money flow that's also moving to the upside. We have our blue momentum wave also moving to the upside here as well. and now it just looks like we are seeing some resistance above head right at about that 11,600 area. So that's our next bullish scenario, possibly, if we can make it above there. And then I think we had on the 15-minute a little bit of a bearish scenario that could play out for us as well too, that we can also keep a keen eye on. Let's just jump into the 3 hours, see if there's any different trend line, maybe structures here that we can look at. Nothing to really be noticeable of. We do have this one that's sitting way up here at about 11,070, 11,700. And so this was another key time frame I was keeping a close eye on to see whether or not we were going to break below some key structures or make some moves to the upside. This is our 4 hour time frame here, but you can see here on our 4 hour we're also getting this rounded money flow here. It does look like the buyers are starting to kind of settle down. The bulls are kind of getting exhausted here, and maybe giving it the opportunity for the bears to take control of this market. So this is also a definitely something to take note of here, but I did want to show y'all. You can kind of see how we've been making this kind of rounded structure here. That's not good news for Bitcoin at all. So, these are the same kind of rounded tops that we've seen on, our past previous little bull rallies that we've had in the markets. So based on that, and then also our money flow kind of trickling off just a tad bit, maybe giving the bears a chance to take this possibly a little bit lower. If we do break into lower areas of this market, I'm definitely looking for possibly a retest of 10.5k. We've had this trend line here for a while at 10.5k. So I'm thinking if the bears do end up taking control of this market, we're looking for a 10.5k retest, and then possibly making our next move from there. So just be ready if that is to come. It'll be a nice opportunity to scoop up Bitcoin at the low. And then obviously we've had this trend line up here at about 12k on our 6 hour time frame. This is also just heavy resistance for us. We tried to break through it and got rejected immediately. So 12k is obviously major overhead resistance for us, and now we're starting to see this kind of rounded topping out pattern of maybe the bulls getting exhausted for right now. We're starting to see our EMA wanting to cross back down below too. Our 6 hour is possibly crossing, wanting to cross below the 100 too. It does look like we are getting a little bit of rejection here on the 6 hour time frame with our 13 and our 100 EMA. So if we continue to kind of move back down in this area, I'm definitely looking for a 10.5k retest, and then possibly seeing what Bitcoin can do from there if it wants to. But as far as this is concerned, money flow still looking like it's kind of rounded off here on the 6 hour as well too. Momentum wave is giving us a green dot, but we'll have to see how that wants to play out. That we could get a nice little Christmas tree pattern down here on these higher time frames. Whenever Bitcoin gets a little bit undecisive, we'll start to see some of those moves take place. And so here we have an 8 hour. We had a blood diamond on our 8 hour time frame. I think this was yesterday or the day before that, maybe Monday. And then we're also seeing the money flow that's also kind of trickling off here too on the 8 hour. So definitely looking for maybe a possible bearish setup here in the near term future. We're starting to get the crosses with our EMAs as well too. Let's turn on the buy and sell signals here, and we'll also turn on market guide buy and sell signals too. Cool. We had our market god sell signal way back here on the 6 hour as well, and we can kind of come back here and retest this. Usually I'd like to, with our buy and sell signals, I like to come back over and see where these were retested at and just see how accurate they were on each time frame. I'm starting to still get familiar with market god and what time frames to keep an eye out on those. But with our whales buy and sell signal, usually I don't use those until the higher time frames. So let's go on into our 12 hour time frame. 12 hour time frame also giving us a market guide sell signal here on the higher time frame. Money flow still kind of rounding off just a tad bit. We are seeing that red dot there on the momentum on the 12 hour as well too. And so we've had a little bit of Christmas tree patterns back over here with our market guide signals, and then finally making a clear direction to the upside. But I almost feel that this is going to be a little bit more drastic than we can expect. So we just need to keep an eye out on that. We've had really thin money flow here this whole consolidation period under 10.5k, and then we had a lot of money come into the market to get us up to 12K, and now we're starting to see that move back down to the bottom side. So I'm looking for a 10.5K support. If not, we're going to maybe make lower numbers than that too as well. I wouldn't quite expect it just yet, but there is a possibility that we come all the way back down to 9K and maybe even under the 10.5K area and see a clear rejection below that, too as well. Looking at the 21-hour time frame, we're also seeing money flow that's kind of moving off to the side, kind of trickling down. We are getting the red dot here on the 21-hour as well too. Starting to see our first signs of some bearish counts here on the TI sequential as well. Going on into the daily time frame. It looks like we're getting a purple triangle to the downside, which is another bearish indication for us based on our trend lines as well. So I'm not too sure where this trend line is coming from. I would imagine probably on some of our lower time frames we had quite a bit of resistance here or support for us to hold, and it does look like we've broken through a lot of that support. So the fact that we're starting to see even the purple triangle on our daily time frame, doesn't give us it lets us know just to be ready that the bears might be ready to take this over. And honestly, I don't really see that many more purple triangles to the downside. So this could be a pretty big, substantial sell-off. It looks like last time we had a purple triangle to the downside. I'm going to turn on Wells buy and sell signals. Cool. Actually, let me clean this up a little bit. I did want to see just last time that we had our purple triangles, and I'm not seeing them, only back here in 2019 this was actually during the backed launch, buy the rumor, sell the news. This was the back launch back here, and we had that big dump there that happened. So are we getting ready to set up for something like that? Well, I wouldn't freak out just yet. Money flow is a little bit different here. It does look like we are still gaining a little bit of floating motion to continue up a little bit higher, but this purple triangle to the downside has been confirmed. So I'm guessing more, or based on probabilities, this is probably going to be a retest of 10.5K. It looks like we did have a trend line break back here that didn't really lead off to much either, but that was based on money flow also moving in that same direction. We did have one right back over here too as well. So yeah, it looks like we've broken some major resistance or support for us too as well, but we're just going to have to take a swing at it and see what happens in the next couple of days to moving forward. So I do want to let y'all know that if y'all are interested in upgrading to the premium plan of TradingView, which is what we use on the channel, feel free to use the links in the description box below. I tell my Patreon members how I set up my charts as well. But if you have Market Cipher, I would at least recommend that you have the Pro or the Pro Plus plan. If you'd like to pick up Market Cipher, I have the affiliate link in the description box below. So I'd really appreciate y'all using that if you're wanting to pick up Market Cipher as well. But then I also tell my my trading group and on the Patreon page how I set up my Aldo EMAs and buy and sell signals too as well. So we've had this daily sell signal here. I use custom parameters on this Wells buy and sell signal, so I tell you how to set that up. And then also on the Aldo EMAs, that is a custom Pine script code that I teach you how to set up, where you can toggle on and off all your different EMAs that you'd like to as well, and you can actually program these to whatever EMAs that you want to have on your charts. And then one thing I did want to also reference was the 200 daily moving average to see exactly where this was at as well. But the 200 daily is sitting all the way back down at about 9K. I wouldn't expect us to come back all the way down to 9K, but that, we can't exclude that. We do know that the 200 daily is looked at quite a bit in Bitcoin as well. So that's just something to take note of from here on out. Let's turn our 200 daily off on Cipher A. Cool. And then what was our other support? Oh, the Trello trend line, but I don't think I have it up here yet. So we'll have to come back to that one, and I may save that for a private video later to see if we do get a substantial big sell-off here that's going to push Bitcoin price down to maybe some lower levels too as well. So let's move on into the higher time frames. Let's go on into our 2-hour time frame and move on from there. I'll turn on market guide buy and sell signal. I think the last sell signal that we had with market guide was right on the 21. We haven't gotten it on the 1 day yet, but if we get a sell signal on the 1 day, I would remain a little cautious from here on out. Money flow still looks like it wants to keep us afloat, but you never know with these whales sometimes. So looking at the 2 day, we did have our sell signal here. We're starting to break below our 13 EMA as well, so that's just something to take note of, and that we might be in for a little bit of a setup to possibly make a move to the downside. 3 day is also giving us a nice little sell signal here, so that's also something to take note of as well. But if anything, we're looking for the retest at about 10.5K. Possibly, if we don't go that low, then, possibly 11,100. I think we've already touched the 11,100 area though. So if we continue to see, and it got bought up pretty quickly, but if we continue to see another bearish candle, possibly on the daily and on some of these higher time frames, then we're going to definitely look out for the 10.5K area. We are starting to see the momentum wave on the 4 day also kind of moves to the downside as well. No sign of the sell signal just yet on the 4 day. And then for the most part, I think some of the higher time frames have relatively stayed the same. So with that being said, everyone, I don't want to take up much more of your time, but this is something that we need to be highly aware of moving forward from here on out. If Bitcoin is going to give us another move to the upside, we're looking at about 11.6, 11.7 for that area to break, and then maybe retest the 12K area. If not, then the bearish scenario is possibly a break even lower to the downside here at possibly the 10.5K area if Bitcoin wants to give us a move that low. So definitely keep an eye out, folks. Make sure that you're staying safe out there. Make sure you're using proper risk management if you are trading this. And join us in our Patreon page if you want to become a member of our trading group. And if not, then I will see you on the next one. And CTO signing out. Peace.